Hi everybody, I thought I'd update you on my thoughts now that all the main Rangers management positions have been filled as of yesterday with the appointment of Russell Martin as the head coach. Notice, by the way, I've still got this virus. I've had this for about 5 weeks now. It is getting better, but forgive the voice because it's still not back to normal. Anyhow, let's start on the really positive stuff. The 49ers got their 51% shareholding to take control of the club last week, so that delighted everybody. Euphoria, to say the least. The thought of this organisation and Andrew Kavanagh taking over the running of the club, so that can only be good. I think it's positive in that many ways. They're not going to throw hundreds of millions of pounds into buying players, etc. That can't be done anyhow. They've actually spent, 70 odd million buying their 51% of the shares. So that's quite an investment. So these guys are here to do serious business. Literally, they're going to try and make money. So that's a good thing because hopefully they'll come up with ways of generating money so that we can spend some of it. And meanwhile, the club stays in profit from now on, hopefully. That's their main aim, I would imagine, as well as obviously bringing back success to the club, because only by doing that will they actually make money. So the two go hand in hand. So that was really great news last week to hear they'd finally taken over. Everything was successfully agreed, and three new members of the board. Kavanagh's the chairman of the board. Parag Marat, if that's his name, he's the vice chairman. Three new guys, Americans presumably, on the board, and we've retained three of the former board, including the former chairman. So that's a bit of continuity that's needed, and at least in the meantime we've still got Patrick Stewart as the CEO, so there's continuity again. We've now got a new sporting director, Thelwell, so he'll be in charge of everything to do with the football side of the club, and we've got his what would you say, assistant technical director, Purdy. Both of them came from Everton, so I'm assuming he'll be in charge of recruitment, or the two of them together. They'll be the ones to find players, sign them, and say to the manager, or sorry, say to the head coach, there's your players, you do what you have to do with them and make them part of a successful team. So all that's good in the background there. I think everybody's delighted with this. As you can see, I've already got my t-shirt. I got this weeks ago, actually. To maybe go into the less positive side, if you go by social media and Rangers fans making themselves heard, with the announcement of Russell Martin as the head coach, to say most people were underwhelmed is an understatement, because I don't know anybody that really wanted this guy to be the manager. Most were in for Ancelotti or Steven Gerrard or one of the other 3 or 4 guys who've been mentioned in the last month, but nobody really wanted this guy, Russell Martin. I didn't want him either, but now he's going to be the head coach. I'm right behind him. I'll give him all my support. I'll hope he does really well, because if that's the case, we do really well, and that's all we all want. I think most of the complaints about him is that he's, some of the people are still calling him the manager. He's not the manager, he's only the head coach, but they're looking at him as a manager of what were they called? MT Dons, Swansea, Southampton, and I've even heard some of them trot out the statistics, X number of wins, defeats, X number of goals for, all this sort of stuff. This is irrelevant. These teams were teams that aren't and weren't at the top of their leagues at the time he was the manager. He was struggling in bad circumstances with poor teams, poor players, presumably. Southampton, they did well to get into the Premier League, but they were absolutely annihilated once they were there. But again, he didn't have the players. Can't blame the manager for everything. So I'm trying to look on the bright side and say it wasn't all his fault. Maybe none of it was his fault. If you don't have the tools, you can't do very much with a team in the top league, especially in England. So I'm forgetting about his previous managerial outs and looking at him. How will he do with us? Well, this is the first club he'll have been at, one of the top two in the league. One club that's miles ahead of all the others, apart from Celtic, obviously. So he will be playing, or he will try to play a team that will dominate every game and score goals and not let in many. All the things that he couldn't do with his previous clubs because they just weren't up to that. They didn't have the quality within their leagues. In this league, he should be able to do this. Other managers have done it, but not to the successful conclusion of winning anything. He's coming to a club, even in last season gone there, where you get 70% possession in most games, especially home games. So that's what he's used to trying to get, dominate possession. According to Thelwell and Andrew Kavanagh and the various management people who have been involved in seeking the new manager or head coach and then deciding he's the man, they have been persuaded by his eloquence, if you like, his articulation of how he sees his teams playing and what he'll bring to Rangers. And if it does come to fruition, everybody will be delighted because he likes to dominate games. He wants total possession, so he'll get that in most games here. But apparently he likes to be aggressive, to press high up the park, but to be aggressive and fast and off the ball, to work hard, track back, get stuck in basically, retrieve possession and start again. He likes his teams to pass it out from the back, so that's fine. Play possession football, that's fine, but there's got to be an end result. So if he can bring all the stuff we've had in the last few years, make it better, but have more aggression and have end results when you get to the final third in terms of a good cross, a shot at goal, even better, a goal, then that'll do us. So if he's true to his word and he actually puts into practice what he's obviously told the management, we could be in for a treat. But as it would be with any manager, it's all a risk. So who knows how it'll turn out. He has to have a good start, obviously. A defeat early on, and the fans really will be on his back. So he's got to start well. I would say I'm not so much worried about him, but I think the two things any manager needs to do is make the players who stay more physically and mentally strong so that these guys can cope with Scottish football. Too many of the present group are just physically and mentally weak. They just can't cope with the hammer throwers and the Neds that make up a lot of the teams in the top league here. So that's something he needs to have in his team. Thankfully, he won't be the one finding it because that'll be down to Thelwell and Purdy, the technical director. They're the ones who are going to have to find these players that they think will be able to cope with our league, and that's the first step. Find 4 or 5 skillful but mentally and physically strong players, and we're halfway there next season, right from the beginning. The other thing I want to see is fitter players, much fitter players, to accompany this mentality and physique, hopefully. And I've read in the papers today that Martin's bringing his assistant head coach and his, I don't know what it's called, director of fitness or something. So this is a guy who will be charged with getting these players fit, hopefully fitter than they've been over the last few years, because that is the basis of a good team. You've got to be fitter than most of your opponents. You've got to have the mentality, and then obviously you've got to have the skill. So hopefully with our recruitment team and Thelwell as sporting director, plus Martin's fitness guy and assistant manager, hopefully we can get the team on the pitch, which we've been desperate for over the last 3-4 years. So good luck to them in that way. We've got 20 million to spend on players, so hopefully we'll have a few in the coming month, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'll maybe get back to you in a week or two and discuss the players I want to see leaving the club and who might be kept and who might be brought in. And maybe by that time, some of it will actually have happened. So onwards and upwards. Come on, the 14. Oh, come on, the Jers.